Chasing Rainbows, A Slim Slimy Adventure by Bruce Cohen. Chapter 1. The rain came pouring down. It was as if God had emptied a giant bucket of water over the garden. The creepy crawlies scurried for shelter under leaves, stones, and flowers, or jumped into the safety of their holes in the ground. Raindrops can really hurt when you're this small. The thunder cracked. The lightning flashed. All the creatures shivered with fright. All except Slim Slimy, the garden snail. He was safe and snug in his cozy shell. "Yeesh! Summer afternoon thunderstorms are so cool," said Slim, to no one in particular. "I wish we had one every day." Then, just as suddenly as it had begun, the rain stopped and the sun burst out from behind the clouds. Raindrops dripped from the leaves, and if you looked closely, you could see a whole magic world inside each tiny drop. In the distance, a beautiful rainbow began to stretch itself lazily across the sky. The arrival of the rainbow was a signal to Slim and all the other snails in the garden to get going. Their sluggy little bodies slithered slowly out of their shiny shells, and they began to slip and slide across the lawn, which was wet and wiggly. A snail highway. Now, snails don't come out after a thunderstorm just to jiggle their jelly bodies or look for tasty things to eat. There's something far more exciting for a young snail to do after a thundershower, when the grass is slick, slippery, and cool. Chasing rainbows. Every garden creature knows that if you catch a rainbow, you get one wish, and it will instantly come true no matter what you wish for. Right then, right there. No waiting, no arguments, no come back tomorrows, no sorry we don't have your color excuses, or you'll first have to clean up your room demands. No way. You just yell out your wish, and before you can say Slim Slimy, it will come true. Now, snails are never short of wishes. In fact, they're the biggest wishers in the whole wide world. All day long, they're thinking about the wonderful things they are going to wish for when they finally catch that rainbow. All that thinking about wishing takes an awful lot of concentration and uses up a lot of energy, and it slows the snails down. So now you know why snails are so not so fast. They're thinking. Right now, Slim's dad is wishing he had an electric lawnmower to cut a smooth path across the lawn so he can visit his friend in the next-door garden more often. It usually took him 6 days to get there. Mrs. Slimy is wishing she had an air conditioner to keep her stuffy, sweaty shell cool in summer. And Slim's sister, Slippery, is wishing for a slimy green dress to wear to next week's full moon feast. And Slim? He's wishing for a rocket to the moon. Now, if only he could catch a rainbow. Chapter 2. It happened one rainy afternoon not so long ago that Slim was slip-sliding home after a game of cricket with the crickets. This was not his favorite game because the crickets used him as a ball, and his shell took a terrible battering. It gave him a pounding headache. A brief thunderstorm had stopped play, and Slim had seized the opportunity to slip away. Now the clouds were breaking up, and the sun peeped out. In the distance, a magnificent rainbow began to arch gracefully across the sky. Slim Slimy immediately forgot his aching head. It was rainbow chasing time. The little snail's slime engine kicked into action, pumping out a shiny, slippery ooze that helped him pick up speed rapidly. Soon, Slim was slithering wildly across the garden towards the fantastic rainbow, going faster and faster, zigzagging here and there to avoid stones, shrubs, the garden spade, and the fat cat that was snoozing on the lawn. Slim Slimy was well known amongst the garden insects for his incredible rainbow-chasing skill. Why, he had once almost caught 3 rainbows in a single day. His secret of success in almost catching rainbows was to stop thinking the moment he saw one. Then all the thinking-wishing energy became slithering energy, and he was able to put on the extra speed needed to chase down the rainbow. Slim slid towards the shimmering rainbow, getting closer and closer until he was almost there, his tiny snail heart pounding against his sweaty shell. Then, with a giant leap, he flung himself onto the rainbow, and his sticky body stuck to it with a noisy, squishy, slimy shlog. The rainbow squirmed. The rainbow squealed as it tried to shake the snail off. But Slim Slimy stayed stuck. The rainbow wriggled. The rainbow writhed, but Slim would not budge. They tugged, they shoved, they pushed and pummeled one another until at last the rainbow, exhausted, collapsed on the ground in a swirl of magical mist. The rainbow sputtered with anger and defeat. "Well, go on, make your wish." It couldn't wait to go behind the clouds. To be caught by the slowest creature on Earth was really, really embarrassing. The rainbow muttered impatiently, "Well, go on. You know what to do. Of course it will come true. But remember, son, just one." Chapter 3. Slim Slimy was so excited by the chase that he didn't know what to wish for. He thought about all the things he wanted. An e-bike, a super smartphone. There were so many things he wanted. How could he choose just one? "You'd better hurry up," complained the rainbow. "I'm fading fast." The rainbow had indeed started to vanish. The violet and blue stripes were already gone, and the green and yellow ones were disappearing before Slim's very eyes. "Quickly, quickly! An electric guitar! A PlayStation 6! Now the orange stripe was gone too. Slim was frantic. How could he choose just one out of all these wonderful things? He needed time to think, but time was running out fast, and he was squirming with so much excitement. Then, suddenly, Slim Slimy froze. He couldn't move a muscle, couldn't move a millimeter. "Oh no," wailed Slim. "I'm stuck. I run right out of slime." The snail was suddenly sick with fear. The rainbow-chasing snail had used up all his vital, sticky ooze, and we all know that a snail without slime will just shrivel up and die. Slim knew he was in serious danger of becoming just an empty shell. As the last rainbow stripe faded into a misty nothingness, Slim desperately yelled out his wish. It was dark by the time Slim slid under the log where his family lived. "I caught a rainbow! I caught a rainbow!" he shouted excitedly. Mr. Slimy looked up from his dinner, a large lettuce leaf, and adjusted his glasses on his stalks. He was used to Slim's boasts about almost catching rainbows, and he certainly did not believe his son had actually caught one this time. There was only one recorded rainbow capture by a snail in all living memory, by Sticky Sammy more than 100 years ago. "Well, what did you wish for this time, son?" Mr. Slimy asked. "Oh yes," said Mrs. Slime. "Tell us, please, Slim, was it a motorbike?" "Or a giant screen TV that I can watch too?" asked Sister Slippery hopefully. Slim shuffled from side to side. "Go on, son," said Mr. Slimy impatiently. He was annoyed at having his dinner disturbed, especially when crispy lettuce was on the menu. "Slime," stammered Slim, feeling humiliated. He was suddenly very, very miserable. "I suppose," said Slippery, "that if you were a bird, you would have wished for feathers." She thought that so funny that she tumbled back into her shell and rocked with laughter. "Hush," said Mrs. Slimy. She could see poor Slim was very upset. "Well," said Mr. Slimy, "you look very tired, son. Put on your pajamas and get an early night. Tomorrow we are moving to a new neighborhood. This log is far too far from the vegetable garden.
We need to find a better spot." Slim was indeed exhausted. He turned slowly and slithered very slowly towards his bedroom. "Wait!" yelled Slippery. "Just look at that!" she said, her eye stalks twitching excitedly. Mr. and Mrs. Slimy stared at Slim in amazement. "Your slime," gasped Slippery. "Just look at your slime!" Slim stretched out his body as far as it would go and then swiveled his stalks around. They were all staring at his shiny trail of slime. It wasn't silver gray like every other snail's. In the moonlight, it shimmered violet and brilliant blue-green, dazzling red, orange, and golden yellow. It was a sight to behold. Slim Slimy had rainbow slime. "Interesting," said Mr. Slimy. "Goodness me," said Mrs. Slimy. "Awesome," said Slippery. "Yikes," said Slim as he whirled around, leaving a trail of multicolored loops and 8 figures. "So you actually did catch a rainbow," said Mr. Slimy, "but you must have used up all your slime during the chase. Luckily for you, the rainbow was very generous. Not only did she give you back the slime of your life, but she gave you this incredible, dazzling ooze to prove that you really did catch a rainbow." "Yes," said Slim excitedly. "I really did try to thank her, but she just vanished into thin air."
Chapter 4. The next morning, news of Slim Slimy's amazing adventure spread throughout the garden. Soon, a huge crowd of insects, bugs, and slithering masses of slugs arrived to see the amazing slime and listen to the story of Slim's rainbow chase. All the creatures agreed that Slim was simply heroic. The following week, at the spring full moon ball, where snails from miles around arrived to celebrate and feast upon the crispy, delicious lettuces in the garden, Slim was asked to perform a rainbow dance for all the guests. He swirled and he whirled around the garden with the magical, shimmering trail of multicolored slime following close behind. The visiting snails' eyes stood out on their stalks. Well, they do that anyway, but this time they almost jumped right out. Next time you're in the garden after a thunderstorm and you spot a shiny snail trail on the lawn, look very carefully. If it shimmers with the colors of the rainbow, you'll know that Slim Slimy, the world's fastest snail, is visiting your garden. Slim loves nothing more than telling the story of his amazing rainbow adventure. Just ask him.